Hello students, I Dr. Simpi Mahajan welcome you back to DSCJ's home classes. We will continue our solution chapter of chemistry, but before starting our new topic, I will discuss one thing with you. I get various queries regarding the mode of teaching. Many students demanded that I must use bilinguist way of teaching. So I will try my level best. So today's topic is solubility. Solubility. In our syllabus, there are two topics, that is solubility of solids in liquid and gases in liquid. But before starting that, first of all, you must know what do you mean by solubility. So solubility is the maximum amount of solute in grams present in 100 gram of solvent at a particular temperature to form a saturated solution. So, by the term solubility, we means maximum amount of solute which is present or which is dissolved in 100 gram of solvent to form its saturated solution at a given temperature. Or you can say it is the maximum amount of solute which is present in a given volume or given amount of solvent at a particular temperature, so that it will result in the formation of saturated solution. Now we will study solubility of solids in liquid. That means what are the factors which affects the solubility of solids in liquid. When we dissolve a particular solid like sugar, NaCl in a particular or in a given solvent, what are the factors which increases or decreases their solubility? There are generally three factors which affects the solubility of solids in liquids. First is nature of solute and solvent. So solubility depends on the nature of solid or solute which is dissolved in a given liquid or solvent. How? We have a general principle in chemistry that like dissolves like. It means this principle is very important in determining or in deciding this factor or the effect of this factor on the solubility of solids and liquids. How? Like dissolves like. It means whenever we dissolve anything in a solvent, then like means here by the term like we mean polar substances or polar compounds is soluble only in polar solvents, and non-polar compounds they are generally soluble in non-polar solvents. So depending on this principle, nature of solute and solvent affect the solubility. How? If we take polar compounds like NaCl, KCl, they are more soluble in polar solvents such as water. And sometimes you have seen in your daily life, you dissolve sugar, which is a non-polar compound actually, and NaCl both in water. The solubility of NaCl is more in water compared to that of sugar. Means स्टूडेंट्स, जब भी आप लोग नमक को और शुगर को दोनों को पानी में डिसॉल्व करते हो, इट हैज बीन ऑब्जर्व दैट शुगर टेक्स अ टाइम टू अंडरगो डिसोल्यूशन, बट NaCl immediately undergo dissolution. Why? Because NaCl is a polar compound, and due to this principle, like dissolves like, NaCl is more soluble in water. That means it undergo hydration in water. Sodium positive ion of NaCl forms bond with the, because sodium positive is a positive ion, forms bond with the OH negative ion of water. Similarly, Cl negative ion of chloride ion form bond with the, or it is surrounded by the positive ion of H positive ion of water. And this process is known as solvation, which you did in your lower classes. Now non-polar compounds, like if you take the example of naphthalene, anthracene, because these are non-polar compounds, these are soluble in organic solvents or non-polar solvents like benzene, CCl4, ether, carbon disulfide, etc. You have observed this example in your daily life also. Sometimes you have observed that we place naphthalene ball or moth balls in our bathrooms or in our toilets, and when they come in contact with water, they are not soluble in that. However, when you put benzene or other organic solvents or non-polar solvents over it, then it is completely soluble in water. So, nature of solute and solvent affects the solubility. It means whenever you take polar solvents and polar compounds, they are more soluble. But when you dissolve polar compound in a non-polar solvent, they are less soluble. So this is your first factor, that is nature of solute and solvent. Now second is temperature. Generally what happen, you studied in your 11th standard about Le-Chatelier's principle. Now according to Le-Chatelier's principle, whenever a process is, there are two types of processes. Whenever the process is endothermic, and then according to Le-Chatelier's principle, what happened? Because this is an endothermic process, it means heat is absorbed here. Then high temperature favored this process. It means for an endothermic process, with the increase in temperature, solubility or process rate increases. However, if process is exothermic, then according to Le-Chatelier's principle, because endothermic means in which heat is absorbed and exothermic means in which heat is evolved. So whenever heat is evolved, then low temperature favors the process, or you can say with the increase in temperature, when you increase the temperature, solubility decreases. And on the basis of these 2 points, that is Le Chatelier's principle. We can divide all the substances into three categories. There are some substances where when you increase the temperature, their solubility increases. And there are other substances, second class of substances. In that cases, when you increase the temperature, solubility decreases. Why? Because that substances on dissolving in a solvent or on dissolving in liquid or water, in the first case they undergo endothermic reaction. That is why in first case, when you increase the temperature, their solubility also increases. And in the second case, because when you dissolve that substances in the solvent or in liquid, the reaction is exothermic. As a result, when you increases the temperature, their solubility decreases. Or when you decreases the temperature, their solubility increases. And the third category is that, I will show you with the help of a graph, but third category of compound is that in which there is no regularity in the increase or decrease of solubility with temperature. That means sometimes they show increase in solubility with the increase in temperature and sometimes they show decrease. I will show this with the help of graph. So students, on the basis of solubilities, all the substances, all the ionic substances have been divided into three categories. So I told you earlier, first is that whose solubility increases with increasing temperature. Why so? Because in such cases, when you mix such compounds in the solvent to form solution, this process is endothermic. As a result, heat is absorbed in this case, and when you increase the temperature, their solubility or this reaction increases. And their example is shown in the graph. Here you see that here, look at the graph. The graph which is plotted between solubility and temperature, they are actually known as solubility curves. And when we take these compounds whose solubility increases with increasing temperature, we have example AgNO3, then potassium iodide, sodium nitrate, ammonium chloride, KCl. Likewise, we have NaCl, sodium nitrate. In all these cases, you observe that with the increasing temperature, when we increase temperature, their solubility increases. However, they differ from one another, but generally their solubility increases with increasing temperature. And this is why, because of their endothermic nature. So this is first category of compounds. Second category of compounds are those compounds whose solubilities decreases with increasing temperature. Why? Because here the reaction between solid and solute and solvent to form solution is an exothermic reaction. As a result, heat is evolved in this case. That is why when you increase the temperature, then their solubility decreases. In simple words, students, I will tell you, इस सिस्टम में, इस रिएक्शन में ऑलरेडी हीट निकल रही है और अगर आप उसको और हीट दोगे तो वो रिएक्शन जो है वो फॉरवर्ड में नहीं जाएगी, वो बैकवर्ड में जाएगी. दैट मीन्स वो रिएक्शन फेवर नहीं होगी. दैट इज व्हाई वी से when you decrease the or when you increase the temperature, their solubility decreases, or reverse is when you decrease the temperature, their solubility increases. And its common example are lithium sulfate, cerium sulfate, lithium carbonate. In all these cases, you observed here that with increasing temperature, when we increase temperature, their solubility curve show decrease, they show fall. It means their solubility decreases with increasing temperature. So these are the two categories of compound. Now third one is the compounds. This factor, that is temperature factor, is very important in this case, that is in the case of solubility of solids in liquids. Compounds which show irregularity with respect to increase or decrease of solubility with temperature change. So these are the compounds which firstly show either increase and then they show decrease with increase in temperature. That means ये वो कंपाउंड्स हैं जिनमें जब आप टेम्परेचर को बढ़ाते हो, स्टार्टिंग में सब्सटेंस की सॉल्युबिलिटी क्या होगी, इंक्रीज होगी, बट आफ्टर सम टाइम उनकी सॉल्युबिलिटी डिक्रीज होनी शुरू हो जाएगी. इस कैटेगरी में, इन दिस कैटेगरी जनरली हाइड्रेटेड सॉल्ट्स और कंपाउंड्स आर इंक्लूडेड. जितने भी हाइड्रेटेड सॉल्ट्स है वो सारी थर्ड कैटेगरी में आते हैं. वाई? बिकॉज जब भी आप किसी हाइड्रेटेड सॉल्ट को हीट करते हो, दे लूज देयर वाटर ऑफ क्रिस्टलाइजेशन. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, दिस इज फेरस सल्फेट. यू नो दैट फेरस सल्फेट has 7 water molecule. When you put this ferrous sulfate in a water and increase the temperature, what happen? Firstly, their solubility increases with the increase in temperature. After some time, it loses. When you further increases the temperature, जब आप दोबारा से उसके temperature को बढ़ाते हो, तो it loses its 7 water molecule. Out of 7 water molecules, it loses 3 water molecules to form ferrous sulfate tetrahydrate molecule. And that means this ferrous sulfate does not show a regular increase or regular decrease. Firstly, it show increase in solubility and then it show decrease in solubility with increase in temperature. So it is also the example of third category because this is the hydrated salt. Now second, we take the example of calcium chloride. You know that calcium chloride had 6 water molecule. When you increase the temperature, firstly it undergoes increase in solubility. That means जब आप इसका टेम्परेचर बढ़ाओगे, पहले इसकी solubility बढ़ेगी, but after some time its solubility decreases. And when its solubility decreases, actually what happens? It loses 2 water molecules and form calcium chloride 4 times water molecule. After some time, when you again heat it, when you again changes the temperature, it again loses 2 water molecules. And finally, on further increase in temperature, it loses all that 2 water molecule also and become anhydrous. And that means sometimes they show increase, sometimes decrease, then increase, decrease, and such type of compounds are included in the third category. Similarly, we have one more example, sodium sulfate, which is a decahydrate. In it 10 water molecules are present and it shows when we increase the temperature, it shows firstly increase in solubility. After some time, it shows decrease in solubility. Why? Because when you increase the temperature, firstly its solubility increases, but after some times it loses its 10 water molecule and form anhydrous sodium sulfate. And the temperature at which a hydrated compound or salt is converted into anhydrous form is known as transition temperature. Generally what happens, this is the category of compounds which on changing or which on increasing temperature changes from one polymorphic form to another polymorphic form. That means from one hydrated form to another hydrated or anhydrous form. And the temperature at which one form is converted into another is known as transition temperature. And this transition temperature is different for different compounds. For example, generally for ferrous sulfate, transition temperature is 61.8 degrees Celsius. It means up to this temperature, when you increase the temperature, the increase of solubility takes place. After this temperature, there is a decrease in solubility. Why? Because of conversion of heptahydrate ferrous sulfate into tetrahydrate ferrous sulfate. Similarly, in this case, sodium sulfate, the transition temperature is 32.8 degrees Celsius. That means below this temperature it is acting as decahydrate, but after this temperature it is acting as anhydrous form and the solubility decreases after it. Similarly, we have for calcium chloride we have different curves, or it shows different transitions. So this is all about effect of temperature on solubility of solids in liquid. Now the last factor is pressure. So the third factor is effect of pressure. Generally what happened? Solids, because this is the solubility of solids in liquids, and you know that both solid as well as liquid, they are highly incompressible in nature. That means when you apply pressure, they have no effect on that because they are highly incompressible. Because of that, pressure has no effect on solubility. Pressure has either no effect or negligible effect on solubility of solids in liquid. Why? Because both solid and liquid are highly incompressible in nature. So students, these are the main three factors on which solubility of solids in liquid depend. So our next topic is solubility of gas in liquid. Again, solubility of gas in liquid is defined as volume of, in that case when you study solubility of solids in liquid, we say amount of solid in a given amount or in 100 gram of solvent. But in this case, because here we take gas, so its solubility is defined as, it is the volume of a gas in cc, cubic centimeter, which is present in a given volume or per unit volume in cc again of solvent at a given or particular temperature. Now solubility of a gas is generally expressed either in molarity or mole fraction. Generally we express it in terms of molarity or mole fraction. Now there are various factors which affects the solubility of gas in liquids. Factors affecting solubility of a gas in a liquid Again we have three factors. First is nature of solute and solvent, or you can say nature of gas and solvent. Second is temperature, and third is pressure. Now first factor, nature of solute or gas and solvent. Under this factor, again we apply the same principle, that is like dissolves like. It means polar or ionic gases are more soluble in polar solvents and vice versa. That means non-polar gases, they are more soluble in non-polar solvents. For example, if you take hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, all these are non-polar gases. These are less soluble in water but more soluble in alcohol or organic solvent. So solubility of a gas depends on again the factor that polar or like dissolves like, or we can say polar or ionic gases are more soluble in polar solvents. There are some points regarding this factor, that is nature of solute and solvent. These are the important points which decides the or which affects the solubility of a gas. Generally it has been observed that gases which react with solvent are more soluble compared to the gases which do not react with the solvent. Second point is gases which can be easily liquefied are more soluble than the gases which are not easily liquefiable. And we know that liquefaction of a gas depends on its critical temperature. You have studied about critical temperature in your 11th standard, but I'll tell you what is critical temperature. The temperature above which a gas cannot be liquefied but below which a gas can be liquefied. So liquefaction of a gas depends on its critical temperature. Higher the critical temperature, more will be the liquefaction. That is, higher the value of critical temperature means more liquefiable will be the gas. And we know that the gases which can be easily liquefied, they are more soluble. That is, जिन गैसेस को आप जल्दी लिक्विड में कन्वर्ट करते हो वो उतनी ज्यादा पानी में डिसॉल्व होंगी, और वो गैसेस जो लिक्विड में कन्वर्ट होने में टाइम लेती है, दे आर लेस सॉल्युबल इन solvent or water. So these are the main points with the help of which we can predict about the solubility of a gas in a particular solvent. Temperature on the solubility of gas in liquid. Generally what happen when we increase temperature, solubility decreases, and when we decrease temperature, solubility of a gas in liquid increases. Why this happens? Because when you dissolve a gas in solvent or in liquid to form a solution, this reaction is an exothermic reaction. And according to Le-Chatelier's principle, whenever reaction is exothermic, low temperature favors the process. It means in this case already heat is escaped out, and when you supply more temperature or when you supply heat to it for increasing its temperature, what happens? This reaction will not move towards this direction, it will move towards backward direction. Or you can say when you decrease the temperature of this reaction, then it moves towards forward reaction. That is why on increasing the temperature, solubility of a gas in liquid is decreased, and on decreasing the temperature, solubility of a gas increases. You can also explain it by taking the kinetic energy concept. How? Whenever we increase the temperature of a gas, its kinetic energy increases. As a result, gases escapes out. It moves towards atmosphere, and when it moves towards atmosphere or when it escapes, its solubility decreases. So, increasing temperature will decrease the solubility of gas. Also, you have observed that during summers, what happen? Some cold drink bottles, they burst out. Why so? It is only because of this factor. स्टूडेंट्स, क्या होता है कि गर्मियों में जनरली क्या होता है, जो सोडा बॉटल्स होती हैं, कुछ सोडा बॉटल्स जो है वो फट जाती हैं, बर्स्ट हो जाती हैं. ऐसा क्यों होता है? बिकॉज सोडा बॉटल्स में कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड गैस डिसॉल्व है, और जब गर्मियों में उसका टेम्परेचर बढ़ता है, गैसेस टेंड्स टू एक्सपैंड इट्स वॉल्यूम और गैसेस टेंड्स टू मूव अवे, वो एक्सपैंड होने शुरू होती है. और बिकॉज जब वो एक्सपैंड होती है, दे डू नॉट गेट दैट मच वॉल्यूम, और एज ए रिजल्ट क्या होता है, जो बॉटल है वो बर्स्ट हो जाती है, और गैसेस जो है वो बिकॉज ऑफ हायर प्रेशर ऑफ गैसेस, वो बॉटल जो बर्स्ट हो रही है, दैट इज ऑल्सो बिकॉज ऑफ दिस. इट मीन्स जब आप टेम्परेचर को बढ़ाओगे, उनकी सॉल्युबिलिटी, जो गैस बीच में डिसॉल्व थी वाटर के, वो कम हो गई और वो एस्केप होने की कोशिश करेगी, और एज ए रिजल्ट जो बॉटल्स है वो फट जाती है. वन मोर इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग रिलेटेड टू दिस फैक्टर इज दैट we have observed that aquatic species or organisms feel comfortable in lake water, sea water during winters as compared to summers. This is also because of the this point, that temperature on increasing the temperature, solubility gases की decrease हो रही है. वो क्यों? Because जितने भी aquatic organisms हैं, they extract or they take oxygen for their survival from the lake water. And when we increase the temperature, that means during summers में जब उस लेक वाटर का जो पानी है जब वो गर्म होता है तो ऑक्सीजन जो है उसकी सॉल्युबिलिटी क्या हो जाएगी, कम हो जाएगी, बिकॉज टेम्परेचर बढ़ा तो सॉल्युबिलिटी कम होगी. एज ए रिजल्ट उन एक्वेटिक ऑर्गेनिजम्स को कम अमाउंट में ऑक्सीजन मिलती है विच इज नॉट गुड फॉर देयर सर्वाइवल. ऑन द अदर हैंड जब हम विंटर्स की बात करते हैं, विंटर्स में वाटर का टेम्परेचर डाउन हो जाता है. बिकॉज ऑफ दैट जब टेम्परेचर कम हुआ सॉल्युबिलिटी ऑक्सीजन की बढ़ जाएगी. एज ए रिजल्ट जितने भी एक्वेटिक ऑर्गेनिज्म है उन्हें मैक्सिमम अमाउंट ऑफ ऑक्सीजन मिलती है फॉर देयर सर्वाइवल. दैट इज व्हाई दे आर मोर कंफर्टेबल ड्यूरिंग विंटर्स एज कंपेयर टू समर्स इन lake water. And this is a common question which should be asked in many competitive exams. Why aquatic organisms feel comfortable in lake water? So this is the second factor, that is effect of temperature. But we have one exception here. Exception. What is that? Generally, all the gases follow this principle that with the increase in temperature, their solubility decreases. But we have some exception like hydrogen and all noble gases. They on dissolving in non-aqueous solvent show reverse behavior. That means they when we increase their temperature, when hydrogen or any other noble gas is dissolved in a non-aqueous solvent, then what happen, if you increase the temperature their solubility increases, and on decreasing the temperature their solubility decreases. This is an exception to this factor. Now third factor is effect of pressure. Now what is the effect of pressure on the solubility of a gas in liquid? Generally we observe that with the increase in pressure, when we increase the pressure, solubility increases and vice versa. That means if you apply pressure to the gas, then their solubility also increases. For example, if you have a beaker in which some amount of gas is dissolved, and if you apply extra pressure to that gas, then more amount of gas is soluble in liquid. So with the increase in pressure, solubility increases, and with the decrease in pressure, solubility decreases. And this factor is also associated with the law which is known as Henry's law. So Henry in 1803 gave a law on the basis of his studies on pressure of different gases and its effect on the solubility of gas. How pressure of a gas affects the solubility of gas in a particular solvent, that was studied by Henry, and he gave a law which is known as Henry's law. It states that the mass or amount of a gas dissolved in a given solvent at a constant temperature or at a particular temperature is directly proportional to the pressure exerted by a gas on the liquid surface in equilibrium with it. सो हेनरी लॉ क्या कहता है कि एक सॉल्वेंट, एक गिवन सॉल्वेंट के अंदर कितनी मास और कितनी अमाउंट एक गैस की डिसॉल्व है एट ए कांस्टेंट टेम्परेचर और एट ए पर्टिकुलर टेम्परेचर, वो किस पे डिपेंड करता है? इट इज डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल टू द प्रेशर। जितना वो गैस प्रेशर एग्जिबिट करेगी लिक्विड की सरफेस पे जिसके साथ वो इक्विलिब्रियम में है, दैट pressure is directly proportional to the amount of gas dissolved. Mathematically, Henry's law can be stated as M is directly proportional to P, where M is the mass of a gas per unit volume of solvent at constant temperature. P is the pressure exerted by a gas on liquid surface. This can be explained with the help of an example. You have seen that in aerated drinks or in soft drinks, cold drinks, carbon dioxide is dissolved. That carbon dioxide is dissolved under pressure. When you increase the pressure, then carbon dioxide is soluble in that water. And when you open the lid of that cold drink or soft drink, what happens? Pressure of the gas reduces. When pressure reduces, that gas fizzes out immediately. आपने बड़ी बार देखा होगा जब आप कोल्ड ड्रिंक की बोतल को खोलते हो, एकदम से खोलते हो तो एकदम से बबल्स जो है वो ऊपर की तरफ आते हैं. वाई? बिकॉज उसके अंदर, कोल्ड ड्रिंक के अंदर कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड गैस को अंडर प्रेशर सॉल्युबल किया जाता है. जब हम उसको प्रेशर लगाते हैं, हाई प्रेशर लगाते हैं, तो गैस की सॉल्युबिलिटी बढ़ती है. दैट मीन्स मैक्सिमम अमाउंट नंबर ऑफ कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड मॉलिक्यूल्स लिक्विड में डिसॉल्व होते हैं. बट जैसे आप उसको खोलते हो तो क्या होता है कि प्रेशर कम हो गया. जब प्रेशर कम हुआ तो गैसेस की जो सॉल्युबिलिटी है वो कम हो गई. गैस जो है इट टेंड्स टू मूव आउट, वो बाहर आने की कोशिश करती है एंड इट फिजेस आउट. दैट इज ऑल्सो मास इज डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल टू प्रेशर. जितना प्रेशर लगाओगे उतनी ज्यादा कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड डिसॉल्व होगी, जितना प्रेशर कम करोगे उतनी कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड जो है उसकी सॉल्युबिलिटी उतनी कम होगी. और व्हेन वी रिमूव द प्रोपोर्शनलिटी सिंबल वी हैव m इक्वल टू k into P, where K is constant of proportionality whose value depends on nature of gas, nature of solvent and temperature of solution. From this mathematical statement of Henry's law, we can also define Henry's law in another form. How? Because here I told you that m is the mass of a gas present per unit volume of solvent, and solubility is also same. Solubility means how much amount of solute is present per unit volume of solvent. So we can also write here Henry's law in another form, that is the solubility of a gas in a given solvent or in a given unit volume, given volume of solvent at a particular temperature solubility of a gas in a given volume of solvent at a particular temperature is directly proportional the pressure of gas over liquid surface with which it is in equilibrium. So this is the another statement of Henry's law in terms of solubility. It means solubility is directly proportional to pressure. Solubility at a given temperature is directly proportional to pressure of gas. So this is the second form of Henry's law. Now, in the same year, Dalton independently studied mixture of gases and how their solubility is related to pressure. And he also gave a statement. According to Dalton, if a mixture of gases are simultaneously in equilibrium with the same solvent or liquid, at a particular temperature, then the solubility of a gas in the mixture is directly proportional to the partial pressure of that gas in a mixture. That is, mathematically we can say solubility of a gas in a mixture is directly proportional to partial pressure of gas. If we consider or if we take mole fraction as a solubility, or if we substitute solubility by a mole fraction, then Henry's law or Dalton's law can be stated in different way. That is, mole fraction of a gas in a mixture is directly proportional to its partial pressure in the solution at a particular temperature. Or chi A, if A is the gas which we considered in the mixture of gas, then chi A is directly proportional to Pa. Or when we remove the proportionality symbol, we have chi A equal to K dash Pa, where K dash is the constant of proportionality whose value depends on nature of gas, solvent and temperature. Or partial pressure of gas is equal to 1 by K dash into chi A, or PA is equal to, this constant is replaced by another constant, that is KH XA, where KH is equal to 1 by K dash, and this K dash is known as Henry's constant, Henry's law constant, or simply Henry's constant. When we plot, because this equation, this is the another statement of Henry's law, and it can be stated as, this is the most common statement of Henry's law, which is the partial pressure of a gas in the solution at a given temperature or at a particular temperature is directly proportional to its mole fraction in the solution. So this is the another form of Henry's law, or this is the most common statement of Henry's law, which states that partial pressure of any gas in the solution at a particular temperature is directly proportional to its mole fraction in that solution. And this equation is actually in the form of an equation of straight line. So when we plot a graph between mole fraction and partial pressure, we will get a straight line whose slope is equal to Henry's constant. So the value of Henry's constant can be determined with the help of this graph, and the unit of Henry's constant, because this Henry's constant has different characteristics which I will tell you, but unit of Henry's constant is same as that of pressure, that is either atmosphere or bar. Why? Because here this Henry's constant, it is equal to partial pressure of A, and it is also the reciprocal of this. You can say KH is PA is equal to KH into XA, and XA, that is mole fraction, it is a unitless quantity, so its value totally depends on the partial pressure, and unit of pressure is atmosphere or bar. So next is characteristics of Henry's constant. Henry's constant has different characteristics. First is KH, or value of KH depends on nature of gas, that is KH has, or Henry's constant has, different values for different gases. All gases have a characteristic value of Henry's constant. Second characteristic is the value of Henry's constant is constant at a given temperature. However, its value increases with the increase in temperature. has a definite value at a particular temperature. Suppose at 25 degrees Celsius, for a particular gas, KH is 20. It is always 20 at 25 degrees Celsius. But when you increases the temperature, then KH value also increases. And third point is, KH is inversely proportional to solubility. Value of KH is inversely proportional to solubility. How? You know that in the above point I told you that KH is directly proportional to temperature. Value of KH is directly proportional to temperature. And we also know that temperature is inversely proportional to solubility. This we did in the effect of temperature on solubility of a gas. That means when you increase temperature, solubility decreases, and when you decrease temperature, solubility increases. So, from these two relations, we can say Henry's constant value is inversely proportional to solubility. For example, if you have a gas A and another gas B, this A has KH value 10 and B has KH value 20. Then what about their solubility? Which gas is more soluble? According to this relation, we know that KH is inversely proportional to solubility. So, that means greater the value of KH, less is the solubility. So, out of A and B, which is more soluble? This A. It is more soluble, whereas B is less soluble. So, many times question like, which out of the following gases whose Henry's constant values are given is more soluble compared to other, or which is least soluble? We can predict the answer of that question by comparing their KH value. KH value, the gas which has KH value out of all, maximum KH value, that gas has minimum solubility, and the gas which has least KH value, it has maximum solubility. So these are the factors or characteristics of Henry's constant. So next is limitations of Henry's law. Henry's law is valid only and only if it follows some conditions. First is temperature of solution is not too low, that is, it must be high, and pressure of gas is low. In other words, gases must behave like ideal gas. This is the condition, first condition. If a gas follows this condition, then only it obeys Henry's law. Second condition is gases are not highly soluble. If gases are highly soluble, then they are not able to follow or obey Henry's law, because Whenever gases are highly soluble, then there is a deviation in the Henry's constant value. So it must not be highly soluble. And third condition is gases are not much reactive. That is, they do not undergo compound formation with solvent, nor they undergo association or dissociation in solvent. So third condition is that only those gases follows Henry's law which are not much reactive. That is, when we mix that gas in a solvent, they do not form compound with the solvent, or they do not react with the solvent. Neither they undergo association nor dissociation in the solvent. Then that gas follows Henry's law. Otherwise, Henry's law is not followed and there is a deviation of values, Henry's law's constant value. Now next topic is applications of Henry's law. Henry's law has large number of applications. Some important applications are as under. First is in the production of aerated drinks or beverages. You know that in the aerated drinks, carbon dioxide gas is dissolved, like in soda water, in soft drinks, in champagne. Carbon dioxide is dissolved, and according to Henry's law, we know that greater the pressure, more will be the solubility. That is why while producing aerated drinks in industries, this carbon dioxide gas is supplied, or it is diluted in the liquid, or it is mixed in the liquid under high pressure. And when we open the bottle, soda bottle, what happen? The pressure of the gas, it reduces. तो स्टूडेंट्स क्या होता है, नॉर्मली जब हम कोल्ड ड्रिंक्स में कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड गैस को डिसॉल्व करते हैं, दैट कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड गैस उसको हम कैसे करते हैं, हाई प्रेशर लगा के उस गैस को सॉल्युबल करते हैं, सील करते हैं उस बॉटल को. और जैसे ही हम कोल्ड ड्रिंक की बॉटल को खोलते हैं तो क्या होता है कि वो जो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड के ऊपर जो हाई प्रेशर लगा होता है वो कम हो जाता है, उसका प्रेशर जो है वो रिड्यूस होने से उसकी कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड की सॉल्युबिलिटी कम होगी. एज ए रिजल्ट वो जो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड है इट ट्राइज टू एस्केप आउट और इट फिजेस आउट इन द फॉर्म ऑफ एफर्विसेंस. तो वो छोटे छोटे से बबल्स जो है, जो फिज जो है वो दिखता है आपको, दैट इज बिकॉज ऑफ लो सॉल्युबिलिटी इन द प्रेजेंस ऑफ लो प्रेशर. And this is also the application of Henry's law. So, second application is in case of scuba divers or deep sea divers. Now what happen? Scuba divers, they go deep into the sea, and while they are diving, they take oxygen cylinders with them. In order to fulfill their oxygen demand, the oxygen is supplied under compressed pressure. That means they take compressed air cylinder which contain nitrogen as well as oxygen in it. And under high pressure inside the deep sea, what happen? Normally the solubility of nitrogen in the blood is less compared to that of oxygen. Students, क्या होता है कि जो स्कूबा डाइवर्स होते हैं जब वो सी के अंदर जाते हैं तो फॉर देयर ऑक्सीजन सप्लाई वो अपने साथ क्या करते हैं, कंप्रेस्ड एयर सिलेंडर्स लेके जाते हैं. उन कंप्रेस्ड एयर सिलेंडर्स में दो तरह की गैसेस प्रेजेंट होती है, नाइट्रोजन एज वेल एज ऑक्सीजन. और ये देखा गया है कि नाइट्रोजन की जो सॉल्युबिलिटी होती है ब्लड के अंदर इट इज वेरी वेरी लेस कंपेयर टू दैट ऑफ ऑक्सीजन. बट इनसाइड द सी, जब डीप सी के अंदर क्या होता है कि हाई प्रेशर लगता है जिससे दोनों नाइट्रोजन और ऑक्सीजन दोनों जो है जो डाइवर्स स्कूबा डाइवर्स है ये इनकी बॉडी के अंदर ये दोनों अंडर हाई प्रेशर सॉल्युबल हो जाती है. जो ऑक्सीजन है इट इज यूज्ड फॉर कैरिंग आउट वेरियस मेटाबॉलिक एक्टिविटीज इनसाइड द बॉडी ऑफ स्कूबा डाइवर्स. लेकिन जो नाइट्रोजन है जिसको हाई प्रेशर से हमने उस स्कूबा डाइवर्स ने जो अपनी बॉडी के अंदर इनहेल किया वो क्या करती है, वो एज सच वहीं पर ब्लड के अंदर ही रहती है और अदर टिश्यूज के अंदर भी रहती है. और जैसे ही स्कूबा डाइवर्स जो है वो सरफेस पे आते हैं तो सरफेस पे क्या होता है, एटमॉस्फेरिक प्रेशर जो है वो कम हो जाता है. एज ए रिजल्ट बिकॉज ऑक्सीजन तो यूज हो गई थी ऑलरेडी मेटाबॉलिक एक्टिविटीज कैरिड आउट करने में, बट जो नाइट्रोजन थी जिसकी सॉल्युबिलिटी नॉर्मली कम होती है अंडर हाई प्रेशर वो ब्लड में डिसॉल्व हो रहे थे. अब जैसे ही वो स्कूबा डाइवर्स बॉटम पे आते हैं, सी के सरफेस पे आते हैं तो प्रेशर कम होने के कारण ये जो नाइट्रोजन गैस है इट ट्राइज टू कम आउट ऑफ दिस ब्लड सरफेस. और जब ये ब्लड की कैपिलरीज से बाहर आते हैं तो दे क्रिएट बबल्स. एक तो ये बबल्स क्रिएट करते हैं, दूसरा ये क्या करते हैं, दे इनहिबिट द नर्व इम्पल्सिस, ट्रांसमिशन ऑफ नर्व इम्पल्सिस. एक तो ये बबल्स क्रिएट करते हैं, बबल्स क्रिएट करने से और साथ बबल क्रिएट करने के साथ साथ ये क्या करते हैं, ये नर्व इम्पल्सिस जो होती हैं बॉडी के अंदर हो रही होती हैं उनको ये क्या कर देते हैं, इनहिबिट कर देते हैं, उनकी ट्रांसमिशन को रोक देते हैं. एज ए रिजल्ट और जब ये निकलते हैं बाहर निकलते हैं ब्लड की सरफेस से तो ये क्या करते हैं, समटाइम्स दे बर्स्ट द कैपिलरी ट्यूब्स. ये कैपिलरी ट्यूब्स को कई बार बर्स्ट कर देते हैं और कई बार ये क्या करते हैं, उन कैपिलरीज को जो ब्लड कैपिलरीज होती है उनको ये ब्लॉक कर देते हैं. और वाइल दे आर ब्लॉकिंग और दे आर बर्स्टिंग द कैपिलरीज तो बॉडीज में कुछ प्रॉब्लम पेन्स होती हैं, उनको उस डिजीज को हम क्या बोलते हैं, बेंड्स. So because of the bubbles formed by nitrogen gas while it is coming out of the blood or out of the body of the scuba divers, a disease is known as bends is caused in scuba divers. और ये जो bends है sometimes it leads to death even. तो इस चीज को ओवरकम करने के लिए nowadays माउंटेनर्स डीप डाइवर्स जो है या स्कूबा डाइवर्स जो है वो कंप्रेस्ड एयर सिलेंडर जो ले जाते हैं दैट कंसिस्ट ऑफ हीलियम along with नाइट्रोजन एंड ऑक्सीजन. और इनकी कॉम्पोजिशन क्या होती है, हीलियम, नाइट्रोजन एंड ऑक्सीजन. Helium is present as 11.7%, nitrogen is present 56.2% and rest is oxygen that is 32.1%. तो आजकल क्या करते हैं जो स्कूबा डाइवर्स है इन ऑर्डर टू ओवरकम दिस प्रॉब्लम, बेंड्स प्रॉब्लम, वो क्या करते हैं, वो अपने साथ जो ऑक्सीजन सिलेंडर और कंप्रेस्ड एयर सिलेंडर लेके जाते हैं उनमें इन एडिशन टू नाइट्रोजन एंड ऑक्सीजन हीलियम भी मिक्स होती है. और हीलियम की परसेंटेज और बाकी गैसेस की परसेंटेज इस तरह से है. अब क्या होता है, हीलियम जो है वो नाइट्रोजन के कंपैरिजन उसकी सॉल्युबिलिटी जो है वो कम होती है. एज ए रिजल्ट जब स्कूबा डाइवर्स ये वाले सिलेंडर लेके जाते हैं जिनमें ये तीनों चीजें प्रेजेंट है तो हीलियम अंडर हाई प्रेशर ये भी क्या करता है, ये भी ब्लड स्ट्रीम में एंटर हो जाता है अलॉन्ग विद ऑक्सीजन एंड नाइट्रोजन. और जब ये एंटर होता है तो बिकॉज ऑफ टू रीजंस, एक हीलियम का साइज कंपेयर टू नाइट्रोजन बहुत ही छोटा होता है और दूसरा रीजन मैंने बताया कि हीलियम की सॉल्युबिलिटी नाइट्रोजन के कंपैरिजन कम है. तो क्या होता है कि जब डाइवर्स जो है वो सरफेस के अंदर मतलब सी के अंदर जाते हैं तो ऑक्सीजन जो है वो मैक्सिमम से मैक्सिमम ऑक्सीजन उनके ब्लड में एंटर करती है एंड इट इज यूजफुल फॉर कैरिंग आउट द मेटाबॉलिक एक्टिविटीज ऑफ स्कूबा डाइवर्स। वेयर एज ये जो नाइट्रोजन और हीलियम है, नाइट्रोजन की अमाउंट थोड़ी सी कम रहती है उसमें, तो जो हीलियम है बिकॉज बोथ आर दीज आर लेस सोलुबल, लेकिन जैसे ही वो नीचे अंडर प्रेशर में जाते हैं तो हीलियम गैस जो है वो भी क्या करती है, वो अंडर प्रेशर वो एब्जॉर्ब हो जाती है ब्लड में। अब क्या होता है जब वो स्कूबा डाइवर्स ऊपर आते हैं तो हीलियम बिकॉज ऑफ इट्स स्मॉल साइज वो इजिली एस्केप हो जाते हैं थ्रू द ब्लड कैपिलरीज। एक दूसरा हीलियम जो है बिकॉज लेस सोल्यूबल है तो जैसे वो सरफेस पे आते हैं तो वो जल्दी एस्केप हो जाता है फ्रॉम दी ब्लड कैपिलरीज ऑफ दी स्कूबा डाइवर्स। एज ए रिजल्ट बेंड्स की प्रॉब्लम जो है उसको ओवरकम किया गया। सो दिस इज ऑल्सो द एप्लीकेशन ऑफ हेनरीज लॉ। नाउ थर्ड इज in the functioning of lungs. Now what happened? Henry's law is also applicable in explaining the functions of lungs. Lungs में क्या होता है, जनरली lungs क्या करते हैं, जब ब्लड में lungs का काम क्या है, ब्लड में ऑक्सीजन सप्लाई करना। अब क्या होता है कि ड्यू टू दिस हेनरीज लॉ ऑक्सीजन जो है जब हम ऑक्सीजन इनहेल करते हैं तो अंडर हाई प्रेशर कंप्रेस्ड जो है, कंप्रेशन में हम जब ऑक्सीजन को इनहेल करते हैं हाई प्रेशर में तो वो ऑक्सीजन जो है वो सारी की सारी ब्लड के साथ मिल जाती है एंड दैट ऑक्सीजन कंबाइंस विद हीमोग्लोबिन ऑफ ब्लड टू फॉर्म ऑक्सी हीमोग्लोबिन। बिकॉज इन द ब्लड जो ब्लड के अंदर जो है ऑक्सीजन का जो प्रेशर है वो बहुत ही हाई है, दैट इज वाई ऑक्सीजन जो है उसने हीमोग्लोबिन के साथ कंबाइन किया और ऑक्सी हीमोग्लोबिन बना दिया। इन द बॉडी जब ये ऑक्सी हीमोग्लोबिन डिफरेंट टिश्यूज ऑफ द बॉडी में पहुंचता है वहां पर ऑक्सीजन का जो प्रेशर है और जनरल जो प्रेशर है वो कम होता है। एज ए रिजल्ट जब प्रेशर रिड्यूस होगा तो हीमोग्लोबिन और ऑक्सीजन सेपरेट हो जाएंगे। जब ये सेपरेट हुए तो ऑक्सीजन जो है इट इज यूजफुल फॉर कैरिंग आउट वेरियस मेटाबॉलिक एक्टिविटीज ऑफ द बॉडी एंड हीमोग्लोबिन एज सच ब्लड में ही रहता है। तो क्या हुआ कि फंक्शनिंग जो लंग की थी, लंग्स की फंक्शनिंग ये थी कि इट सप्लाइज ऑक्सीजन टू द ब्लड, तो वो सारा हेनरीज लॉ की बेसिस पे हुआ कि जब प्रेशर लगा तो ऑक्सी हीमोग्लोबिन बना और ऑक्सीजन जो है हमारी बॉडी के अंदर इन द ब्लड स्ट्रीम पास हो गया। और जब प्रेशर कम हुआ तो इन अदर बॉडी टिश्यूज ये ऑक्सीजन रिलीज हो गया और इसने डिफरेंट फंक्शंस परफॉर्म किए। नाउ लास्ट इज एट हाई अल्टीट्यूड। What happened at high altitude? Concentration of oxygen is less, and when concentration is less, then pressure is obviously less. As a result, because oxygen at higher altitude is low in concentration, as a result the people who are living at higher altitude or mountaineers who are going to higher altitude, they receive less amount of oxygen for breathing. Because of that all those people or all mountaineers, they are weak and they suffer from a disease which is known as anoxia. What is anoxia? It is a disease in which brain thinks or work less. That is why it happens, because brain receives less amount of oxygen and as a result different nerve impulses or different impulses which are carried out within our brain, they are less functional. As a result all those person or all those people who are living at higher altitude, they have their brain works less compared to other people who are living at lower altitude, and their body is weak, and this disease is known as anoxia. So all these can be explained with the help of Henry's law. These are the applications of Henry's law. So this is all about today's topic. Thank you, students. Have a nice day.